When y'all talk, look at Angie.
So my name is Gerald Lee Jones. I am now a senior. My name was spelled about 4 or 5 different times differently. So when I joined the Army, I went in, my name was spelled Jerrell for 18 years. When I joined the Army, my birth certificate said Jerrold. Well, my oldest sister, which is like a mother to me because I was a year and a half when my mother passed away, July 4th, 1972. She spelled it Gerald. I think it was Jerald. I can't think of any other Geralds how they tried to spell my name. So when I joined the Army in 1990, I saw a major on the other line saying, "Well, son, do you know how to spell your name?" I said, "Man, that's all I know." He said, "Don't you be arguing with me. I'm a sergeant major." I said, "I'm not in your Army yet." So, you know, I can't start at the beginning and the ending, but that's one of the touches. Some of the things I remember as childhood, growing up watching my brothers play baseball, and then they ended up coaching me and being I'm gonna say the youngest, but they call me the baby of the family. You know, there's this quote, if you ever seen Posse, you know, my brother Earl, Lil J, you know, I'm the baby of the family. You know, so they call me Lil J. And actually, the guy that was named Lil J in Posse, he had a coat too. But my brothers, Donald and Ronald, they were my coaches. And they pushed me, and I didn't like it. They pushed me hard. I thought I was the brother, so I should be getting some special attention, special favors. No, they pushed me harder. And so those things pushed me harder, and it made me work harder, although I didn't like it. But I see what they were doing. Everybody, me and my sister, LaShonda, you know, we fought all the time. One day we got into a little scuffle and she pushed me, and I left her alone. She pushed me, I left her alone because I didn't think she had that much strength, so she pushed me. So, you know, I heard a lot of stories. Earl and Tricia, James, Donald, Ronald, Eva was pretty much out when, you know, I got up in age, her and Herbert. But, you know, I remember James coming back from college and Daddy fussing at him. And I didn't know how he was gonna get back to college though, because Daddy went and took the battery out of his car. You know, but James made it. But through it all, it was about tough love. And I have 3 kids now. Everybody say you got a late start, well, I just had to find the right person. And her name is Kim Jones, no related. She was a Jones before I married. So I had to do the history. Hey, you got any people here, here, here? I said, okay, we can start coding, as they say back in the day. So we married. This November we'll be married for 17 years. Wow. I have a 12-year-old, a soon-to-be 9-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and I teach them basics. And people ask me, why am I so hard on my kids? I said, well, my daddy was hard on me. Look at me. Look at me. So what I'm doing, and then I get people come tell me, hey, you're doing a real good job with your kids. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And that's what I know about my dad, because he was always tough on us. We didn't know the meaning. We didn't know the meaning then, but now we know why he was so tough on us. And that's why I'm hard on my boys. And people, why you so hard on them? Why you so hard on us? It's because you have to. Because if you don't learn it from the house, they'll learn it from somewhere else. So I can go on. I hope everybody get a chance, but which one will. But I got a lot of stories that's been told to me. But for the most part, I know.
All right, Jones.
My name is LaShonda Jones, and I am number 9 of 10 kids.
I have 7 brothers, 2 sisters, and I was born August 10th, 1968. I did say my name was LaShonda Jones, no middle name. And I did say I have 9 brothers and sisters who all have middle names. One of my sisters even has 2 middle names, and I didn't get one. I've had serious issues with that my whole life. I never understood why I did not receive a middle name, but I guess I'm learning to live with that. Guess I'm gonna have to. Did I say I had 9 brothers and sisters that all had middle names? I didn't get one, but that's okay. I'm moving right on. Memories of my mom are very vague. I was a year and a half when she passed. So 3 years and a half. 6, 8, 72, 2 and a half. 2 and a half.
2 and a half.
2, about 2. When she passed, and so my memories are very vague of my mother. I've heard many stories, many great stories from my mother, who she was, who even at an age, at my age when she passed, some of the things instilled in me, and I feel her spirit in me, who I am. As she was, as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, a friend. I feel a lot of that in my spirit, and I am grateful for Annie Jo Jones. I feel her within me every day of my life, and I appreciate who she was to me and my brothers and sisters. I love her for who she was, who she is to me. One specific memory I do have of my dad, Herbert Jones Jr. There's a lot of things. He was a stern, firm man growing up. He had 10 kids to wrangle, so being at the end, the baby girl who I was, I think I got away with a lot. And I think my brothers and sisters can agree with that. I was basically the one who could pretty much say what I needed to say and get away with it, just a little bit. I knew better where to step the line, cross over the line. I knew just what to say and how to say it. But I pretty much, got away with a lot. Fondest memory I think I have of my dad is playing basketball and being on varsity, playing in all the games, home, away. It didn't matter where we were playing, which day it was. He was always there. He made every game. There were a lot of times he was the only person of color in the crowd, but he was always there to support, to be there to cheer me on. I never looked for him in the crowd, but I always knew he'd be there. He was always there. And I think that is one of the fonder memories I have of him, knowing that he would always be there to support.
My name is Donald Paul Snow Jones, and I too have a twin. Unlike everybody else, nobody else has twins in this family. I'm the only one. That makes me special, by the way.
Especially
And I was named after my doctor, who was Crosno. Me, like Gerald, I spelled Crosno for years with a C until one day, me and my sister, Patricia, wanted to go to Jamaica. and we decided to go get birth certificates. We had to go all the way to Freestone County. And when we got there, they pulled 2 copies of my birth certificate. The first one they pulled said I was a Negro. And I said, a Negro? Man, this is 2005. They said, well, back in 1964, that's what we called you.
You was a Negro.
That's exactly
I
right.
said, well, pull the other one. They said, well, we got another one. And it said colored.
Keep quiet.
This is getting worse. But I was born in 1964, and for years I spelled my name with a C, and it's actually spelled with a K. You see that? Everybody know that but me. And when I went to college, they wouldn't even let me in college because I didn't know how to spell my name.
Nobody did.
And so we went to Jamaica. We got our passports, and we got everything, and everything was good. But the thing I remember about my granddaddy, Jack, and Effie is only really one thing. Jack wore overalls everywhere he went. That's all I knew. And I don't think Effie liked him very well, 'cause, she was always screaming at him. That's what I remember. And Effie went to live with a sister, and we was little, and we was afraid of our grandmother, but we was made to go and talk to her. And when we went to talk with her, all she did was fuss at us and tell us to be good. And that's all I remember about Effie. And she looked exactly like Trish. That was it.
Yeah, she did right there.
That's my story.
That was great. I am Earl. Don't look at the camera, look at you. I'm Earl Glenn Jones. I was born March the 14th.
Or 15.
15th.
My mama said that I was born on March the 14th, 1962. And like most of us, we went to get our birth certificate. Mine was when I got my driver's license. I went in to get my birth certificate when I was 15. And it said Earl Glenn, but with one N. I was mad about that. And it also said that I was colored. So, and it was handwritten. So I had a handwritten original certificate that was on a postcard that they gave to me. So obviously they wasn't printing them out back then. They were writing them out by hand. And so I was very disappointed because it also, not only did they misspell my name according to my mama, they had me born on March the 15th. So I said, that's a lie. That ain't right. You need to go back there and fix that. And sure enough, the thing had been made out. They gave me the original copy by mistake, and they kept the photocopy or whatever extra copy was, because this thing was signed by some nurse, Betty, back in 1972, and it had the original, corners were bent on the thing. It was the original copy, and I lost it when our house burned with my dad. But, because Daddy had it pinned on the wall. But that was one of the things that I remember, and so my family gets a kick out of trying to figure out when my birthday is now, because my mama always had my birthday on the 14th, but my birth certificate says the 15th, and I spelled my name with 2 N's for years because my mother said that she named me after John Glenn, because that was the year he circumvented the globe. But on my high side, they say I was named after all the Glenns on my mother's side. Well, I don't debate that. I'm just glad that my mama birthed me and that she brought me into this world, and I'm glad about it. And I'll come back and talk about her later. I have some great stories, but some of the things I remember now, my first memory of my mother that I remember is, I guess I became sentient or conscious that I was a person on the planet, was I was going out the house. I couldn't have been no more than maybe 2 or 3. And I remember the screen door, and I remember my grandmother saying, "Don't you slam that!" And before that lap, she was trying to hit at me with a Chinaberry switch, and it hit the floor. It missed me. The screen door slammed, and I turned around, and I was still alive. And that's when I became sentient. And my mama, I remember hitting the ground, and my mama came out and said, "Baby, you okay?" I said, "Yeah, grandmama was trying to hit me with a switch." And she go, "Because you slammed that screen door. Don't be going here slamming that screen door. You know she gonna get you." So that was my first sentient moment. I'm not sure how old I was, 2.5 or 3, but all I remember is all my other brothers and sisters were going off to school. Trish was going off to school, so I'm about 2.5 years behind her. So I probably was about 2.5, 3, because I put you at 5. So that was my first memory of my mother. My first memory of my daddy was when my older brothers and sisters used to take us up the road, and Daddy told us not to go up there. And he said, if y'all go up that road again, I'm gonna get y'all. So we would sneak up that road, and I think it was me and Trish and James. I don't know if it was, but there was this little moss that used to grow on the ground. It was like carpet and soft. So we were in there like a little getaway or a little camp out place or whatever. And then Daddy came driving home one day, and we waved and said, hey, Daddy. He said, yeah, hey, y'all come on to the house. And so we got to the house, there was that screen door again, that classic, Daddy comes out of the screen door, we holler, we saying, happy Daddy. Daddy takes it to us with his belt. Don't you go up that road no more, it's snakes up there, it's all kinds of terrible things up there. And that was my first sentient moment of my daddy. Other than that, Dad was a baseball coach. My first best memories of him when I was 7 or 8, 9 or 10, we played Little League Baseball. And he used to hit grounders at us to teach us how to catch the ball. And whenever we didn't catch the ball, we'd let it go by. He said, boy, get in front of that ball and stop it. So we get in front and stop it. He'd say, beat him up, ball, beat him up. Or catch that ball. So we learned how to catch the ball, but we didn't want to get biased. Because if it got biased, we had to run to the fence and go get it. So we would stop that ball. So Daddy was a baseball coach. And that was my fondest memories of him. He coached us, and we were champions or we were not. We had trophies or we didn't. With no consolation prize back then. You either came in first or second, that was it. Everybody didn't get trophies. You were a winner or you were not a winner. And like Gerald said, he was hard on us. He wanted us to be the best. He didn't, because we were the coach's son, he didn't take any favors. And I remember his story of him telling us how he wanted to go play professional baseball. And he got a scholarship to go to play Prairie View, play baseball. And I'm not sure if it was grandmother or Grandpa Jack that didn't want him to go. They wanted him to stay home and work or whatever it was, but
Didn't have enough money.
or they didn't have the money. Thanks, sis. I'm not sure what the story was, but I just remember him being sad about it. So we used to say, Dad, you was on your way to play college ball? I said, yeah. Man, you can't hit the ball no far. He said, boy, I can hit the ball a long way. I just don't because y'all in this little bitty field. How high can you hit the ball? He used to take that bat and hit that ball so high in the air, we would count to 1,008 before it would come down. I mean, the ball way up in the air, and we would just laugh. I mean, it would almost go out of sight. And we little 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds trying to catch this ball that's so high in the air, we were just having a great time and said, Dad should have played professional baseball because he hits that ball. We'd go on TV and see how high they would pop balls up, and we would count them, how long it take to come down. He was hitting the ball just as high. Just great memories of Dad, of him getting us up and piling us all in the front bed of that truck and taking us to Sunday school. It would be cold and rainy. We knew nobody else was going to be there, but we were going to be there Sunday morning for Sunday school.
On time.
On time. And we go in there and we heat that potbelly stove, not potbelly stove, but whatever that stove was, we get that thing started. And we were there, and if the Palmores or the Peltons didn't show up, then we were the only ones there. So I'll go on to Trish after this one story with Dad. We were outside, and to Shonda's point, we were always an odd number of boys to play baseball. So we had baseball. We had a home base and a second base. There was only 2 players. And if there were 3 players on the team, we could have a home, a first, and a third. So since it was me, Don, Ron, and James, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. And Daryl would be 5. So we always had 5, and one person had to sit out. So we drafted Shonda, poor Shonda. Shonda no more than 5 or 6. We made her play baseball. She didn't want to do it. But we made her because we wanted to play 3-on-3. So James would take Shonda and maybe me or Daryl or one of the other ones, and he would play me and Dawn along or however it was. And that's my fondest memory where Daddy would come home one day and he said, boy, y'all don't know how to play no ball. And he would play ball with us out there in the field. And we played football. I remember Daddy going out and catching the ball. He was 40 years old, but he was so swift and so athletic. And those are just fond memories that I have of Dad. And I have 100 more, but sports, baseball were the things that my dad was into, and him supporting my sister sounds like him. I think I was graduated and gone by the time she was in high school, but it sounds like Dad making every game because he didn't miss any of our games. Oh yes, and no, I'm Earl Jones, and I've done everything from engineering to IT to consulting, and right now I'm doing IT consulting and health advising, and that's what I'm doing currently, and I'm married to a beautiful wife. She has 4 boys, and I have 2 kids, Michael and Crystal, and I am so blessed, and we've been together for 20 years.
Come.
So, and I started out at college with Dawn. Dawn was saying he was trying to get him into college. I said, boy, come on in and go to college. We started out at Tyler Junior College in Tyler, Texas. And I went from there to Eternal University. I got my second degree there at Eternal University in Longview. I got my third degree at the University of Texas at Arlington. So I've had to, just to keep up with the Joneses, I had to go educate myself to keep up. But it's been a blessing. It's been wonderful, and the life goes on. I'm just so blessed to be here with my family and to have had a life with my dad and with my mom. And I'll talk more about her later. I'm like Gerald, I'll get emotional, so I'll save that for later. Pardon me? Did I do what now? Ask me a question.
What were you at in the kid family? What
Oh,
number
that's
were you?
right. That's right. I thought I said that. I was right after Donald and Ronald. Okay. And I'm number 5, and Trisha's number 6. So I'm number 5. I remember coming home and even told me this story.
You ain't number 5. How's Trisha? Trisha older than you, Mike.
Don't tell him my story.
Right.
Carol, need to get need you
Well,
to
they keep egging me on.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Hey, I'll stand corrected. Okay. I don't want to get pinched over here. Okay. I'm number 5. Everybody say I was my mama's favorite, and I probably was, but I don't remember that. All I remember is that Mama loved me.
Tell the story about your singing.
And so when I was coming up, I remember the first song I ever sung in church, and Mama made me do it. I didn't want to do no, Christmas song. I mean, and it made us memorize Christmas poems and stuff like that. I didn't want to do that. So Mama said, you're going to learn this song. So she taught me Away in a Manger. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. The little Lord Jesus asleep on his bed. It's been so long I don't remember the words.
That's right.
Sure, right.
But yeah, thank you. Jerry remember it.
Taylor did a good job.
That's my brain saying I didn't want to ever sing that song, but I sang that song every Christmas and I hated it. And somebody recognized that I could sing, so they made me sing in school. And Mama used to make my jackets and put the ruffles on the edges and on my neck. And I used to say, Mama, why you do that? She says, because I love you and I want you to look good. I want you to look nice. I want you to look special. I hated singing. I really did. I didn't like being in front of people at all. But because my mama loved it and she wanted me up there, I did it and I was glad about it. So again, I'll
Don't
come.
sing that song. Don't sing that
Oh
song.
no, see, like when you.
You gotta tell them about your talent show.
Oh, see, okay. I thought we were doing the daddy round robin.
I know,
Okay,
but that's
okay.
a part of Daddy's.
Okay, that's a great story. That is a great story.
Yeah, you can tell.
Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry.
my mom died when I was 10, and I'd been singing since I was 7 or 8, and Mom made every talent show, and Daddy would never come. But Daddy never missed a ball game, and Mama was never there. So it was like they both had me on both sides. These are my memories. I'm not sure what my brother's experience was, but it was great knowing that my mother was always there when I had to do something in school. She was on the PTA. I remember her fussing about us. If something happened in school, she would come down there. Daddy would say, boy, I don't want to have to come down to that school. If I got to come down to that school, it ain't going to be good. So Mama always came to the school for good things and bad things. I remember Dad, he drove the school bus. That's about it. But I digress, and I'll get back to the singing part. I sang since I was in the 3rd grade, and they put me in this talent competition. And I remember my mother dying the summer before this talent competition. And my daddy went to, I'm gonna say it was his first, but that's the first time I remember my daddy being there. And I sang that song, nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning.
We hate that.
Butterflies all flutter up and kiss each little buttercup at morning.
Tip the hat, tip the hat.
If I had Aladdin's lamp for only a day,
Yeah.
I'd make a wish, and here's what I say. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. Oh, snap. I had a little crowd. And they were on their feet. And I was just having a good time, and I was singing that song, and I remember us getting in the truck. I remember Trisha being there, maybe some others, but I remember Trisha said, you did good, boy. I mean, I don't know if it was whatever it was, but I remember Dad she said, Dad, didn't Earl do good? She goes, yeah, he did. I just wish his mama could have been here to see it. And that's the last time I remember talking to my
paper?
dad. Pardon me?
You were in the paper?
It was all news. I'll let Eva tell that story. She won't tell it about me.
They had top act. You won the top act of the show too.
You were
Oh,
just
yeah.
first place.
And it gave me a whopping $40. Now $40 would mean like a lot, but I remember stopping at the gas station with Dad. And when gas was 39 cents a gallon, I bet $40 was a lot of money. I don't know then, but I was 10.
Gas in this car with that.
But $40 was a lot of money, and I remember my dad gave me $1 for a long time. If I need some money, he'd give me $1. And after a while, after about 6 months, them dollars ran out. So
And all the other kids hated it.
yeah.
We did not like it.
But I had some fond memories of my dad, and most of it was sports, and my mother coming to my singing and school and at church, and it was just a blessing. That's my time over my time. So I'll come back around to me.
You're good.
Good job.
Good job.
Whew. I'm gonna try not to be that long, but it's probably gonna happen.
Y'all push me on. You're supposed to pinch me.
I'm gonna pull your shirt.
Go
Oh,
See him, yo, motivated mom.
So, my name is Patricia Maxwell.
When is halftime?
However,
after number 5.
Is
oh,
there an intermission break or?
my name,
They even have halftime in hockey.
excuse me, before I was rudely interrupted by Donald the twin.
Blow the horns, halftime.
Okay, well, we're almost to the top. We're gonna take a mission break, Angie, okay?
No, keep going, Trish.
Okay, so they said no. Hey, I'm flexible, I'm the middle child, I have greatness, okay? So, as I was saying, my name is Patricia Diane Louise Jones.
She got one of Shonda's.
And you know why I got all those names? Because my mama gave me her best friend name, and my mama gave me her sister's name, because she loves me more than all of them. That's her best friend. This is my story, don't interrupt me, okay? So, as I was saying before Earl interrupted, and we'll hear more about him and me later.
That's some great stories, yeah.
I am married. I have a daughter. I'm married to Daryl Maxwell. We've been married for 30 years in July, coming up, or June. And I've been at my job, which is Children's Medical Center of Dallas, for 29. I am a nurse, and I love nursing. It took me a while to get out because I was keeping people kids. I had no money. I was traveling all over the world to keep people kids. But that's beside the point. I finished school, and that's all that matters.
God bless you.
So right now, I am working on my bachelor's,
Still in school.
and I'm still in school. Because if I don't finish my bachelor's, Children's Medical Center is gonna fire me in 2020.
Yeah, right, please.
No.
Because they are magnet status. Okay, that's probably too much in this story. But I'm gonna continue on. So, I am the 4th child because I am after James. I love James. I am the 4th child. I'm before Earl. We didn't get along very well. So,
This is true.
that being said, I was a cheerleader in school, and my daddy, now let me talk about my grandmother because that's who I am. My grandmother Effie is my dad's mom. So I was always told that I resembled her, and so I resembled a little bit of each side, but my daddy's side, Effie was the one. In our looks, and as you see that I'm probably the only yellow person here. All of my other yellow comrades, which would be his twin and the one between these two, Daryl, we're the yellow ones, and beautiful, as I must say. High yellow, red, whatever the names are, it's still beautiful.
All right.
So, with that being said, Effie, my memories are her. She was teaching me how to quilt, which we did a few quilting parts and panels. She did a lot of disciplinarian with looking down. Our house was like down on a hill, and her house was like up high on the hill. So she would look down to see what we was doing. So if there were things that we were doing that we were not supposed to be doing, then she would scream down, "Get out off of that board! Shut that door! Stop!" Whatever. She would just holler down and we would hear her. Well, I'm sure Eva's going to share some of those stories, so I'm not going to share those stories because they were told to me. As these youngsters, that one was told to me about us jumping out of the barn. They brought the baby up to the barn. They was going to throw the baby out of the
And that would have been me. So I'm gonna let somebody else tell their story because I can't tell it. I just know I was gonna die if my grandmother, Effie, wouldn't have screamed down and told them not to do it. So another story, a fun story of her is we all like to go up to her house because sometimes we would go up there and just hang out. Well, this particular time we was going up there and we were all going together. There was a snake in the road. So we wasn't sure what to do. And I'm kind of blurry on who did what and who went where and who went around. However, I just do remember that Earl and I jumped over. I could be lying, but that's my story. So Earl and I jumped over because the story is supposed to be.
It's like a day.
So it's kind of blurry, but that was a fun memory. So when we got up sharing this story,
She said she would picture every time she laughs. She's supposed to be doing the picture now.
sharing this story to our grandmother, then, it grew. So I'll have to let somebody else tell it because I may not be clear on it, but that was another memory. Our grandmother also had favorites, and I'm not going to call names of the favorite, I'm just going to point at them, but she had favorites, and I think that the one before me was her favorite. So she would always, when we go up there, things just didn't look right. Where's my boy? My boy can sit here. That's my boy's seat. So it was a little confused, but she still loved us, and we realized that. But I think once again that she had a favorite. But I don't want to call names, but I think she did. The one before me.
Does his name rhyme with James?
That was some of the fun memories. And another fun memory of my grandmother is that she used to save her gum on her bedside table. So whenever she would give me gum, when I go up there, I would chew it and I never threw it away because she did it. So I would put it on the bedside table. So one morning when we got up, she hadn't put gum that day, but she saw gum. Did you put gum on my bedside table? Yes, I was gonna chew it again. No, you don't put gum. I put gum on my bedside table. So she made me get the gum and throw it in the trash again. She told me not to ever do that again. That is her table, and she put gum on her own table. So that's what I learned from that on my grandmother's side. So as we trickled down to my dad, she had, a few kids. One of them, and I have to mention him, I know that it's Uncle CJ. He was like a dad to us, and he didn't have any kids, so we were basically his kids. Fast forwarding, as he got older, he actually ended up staying with one of our sisters, which is Shonda. And we took care of him until he passed away. And that was my dad's brother. And we had really fun memories of him. And one of the memories that we had is that when we were leaving, he would talk to us all the way out of the driveway. So occasionally, some of the people that mimic that so well, I don't want to call any names, but he is Baby J. He did that so well. And another one that's not here that's yellow, between those two, also do that very well. So Uncle CJ was like a father figure to us in terms of just us being a part of his life. So, but my daddy, and everybody's represented him so well. So for us, it was a few cheerleaders. Shauna was a basketball, baseball. She did all that kind of stuff, but she was also a mascot. So nobody wants to mention that part of, but she was a mascot, and I have pictures. And Shauna was a mascot at my game. Because I was, Eve says her game, but it doesn't matter. She was a mascot. So, Shauna was a mascot. Okay, so I was a cheerleader. And with all this competition of sports, cheerleaders, I don't know if the guys thought they was important at all, but we did because we was supporting them. We was cheering them on.
You were.
Now, I got to support some of my brothers too. And the reason I did, because I was a cheerleader in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, not 12th grade. Well, actually, I even started in 7th. So I was a cheerleader for a while. But one of the things that I remember is even my cheering games, whether my brothers were playing or not, Daddy was there.
Yeah, he was.
He loved football, and he was always at our games. So what baffles me about all of this is, how does he do this? He have all these kids, he made all their games, all their cheerleaders. How does he do that? This is how. He'd get off of work, he'd go home and get dressed, He grab all the kids that's gonna go. He takes them, whether it be 4 or 5 o'clock or whatever time that game. He makes the junior high game. He makes the whatever that next game is, and then the JV game, and then he made the high school game. How does he do that? Yes, and sometimes he be driving fast. Sometimes he be driving faster. But he made all the games of all of us, and so when we talk about our dad, we talk about because he was such a phenomenal dad. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
We can all say that. But he, in the eyes of these kids sitting up here, was a perfect dad because he was involved in our lives. In everything we did, he made us who we are. My mom's a whole different story because that's another side that made us who we are. But our dad made us strong. He made us learn how to change oil. I'm talking from the girls' point of view.
Well,
but the
right.
boys too. He made... Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. She's a whole different breed of girl. We talking about me and Shonda. Okay? Not Eva.
Even change yours?
Even
So
change.
this is my story, and so I'm gonna ask all y'all to be quiet. Because I'm talking about Trisha, Patricia, Diane, Louise Jones.
Maxwell.
My mama, well, Maxwell now.
That's 5 names.
I'm married. Yeah, that's 5 names. And I ain't sharing with Shonda. I ain't sharing with Gerald. None of them.
Give your sister one of your names.
No, my name. So,
That's his mom.
as I was saying, our dad, he represented, I feel, his spiritual aspect because he always had us in church, rain, sleet, or snow. I remember we went to church. It was pouring down rain like it is now, a little harder, and the bridge was out.
I mean to tell you.
Okay, we was like, yes!
And we thought we were
We're not going to church. Hey, Daddy turns us around. We stopped at the Methodist church. We had church. We had church, yeah. Right on the way back home.
Way back home.
So it wasn't none of that skipping church stuff with our
I like
dad.
the wine up there though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did get to take communion. So I'm gonna end with this awesome story.
And what was the calling call for waking up in the morning on Sunday?
Shine, rise and shine.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody had the same rise up, get up out of bed.
Snowing outside.
Yeah. And we all, I'm not gonna use that H word, but we all disliked it. Anybody else got a word they wanna add to dislike? Loathed, what's
We were very quiet Sunday mornings,
Yes.
hoping no one would wake him up.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Don't say nothing.
Don't be quiet.
He'll forget.
Dad's still sleeping.
Yes. So this is gonna go with this story. This is gonna be a great ending. So, Eva, can you let me tell the story? See, this is Eva. She is the boss, but she's always been the mother. But she is the boss.
That's so pretty.
So to end this story,
You're not the boss of me.
all the boys and all the girls had to get their shoes ready.
No, she
They had to get their dresses or whatever, their underwear, whatever they had to do. They had to get it ready before Sunday morning. So the night before, which was Saturday night. Well, there was a lot of playing going on Saturday nights and important things happening with Eve and I with our dolls. They had to look good for Sunday as well.
Can we
So-
take a break?
So
Yeah, I'm telling you, girl, it's time to take a break.
the question was,
I'm
oh
not-
my gosh, Eva, where are we gonna get beautiful bows and ribbons for our dolls? So we thought and pondered as little girls, not being sure, and we didn't have much money.
This is fun.
We said, oh, let's get it out the shoes of the boys.
That ain't funny.
That ain't funny at all.
So Eva needed
We
2
gotta go
ribbons.
away.
I needed 2 ribbons, so we had 4 all together, and we put it on our dolls, and they
Y'all
were
had to
so
put on shoes.
pretty.
Yes, they were.
We got whippings for not having our strings.
Unfortunately, because of our beauty of our dolls, some people
We meant to put it
because
back.
my sister and I forgot to put our fashion statements back into where we got it from. Therefore,
I already beat them up.
some people were punished. It was very traumatic to them, not to us.
That ain't funny.
I mind
That ain't funny at all.
you.
That ain't funny at all.
So,
Yeah, y'all had slip-on
you
shoes.
may ask,
Yeah, we were too
when
young.
did they learn about this awesome fashion statement for our
years ago.
dolls?
About 20 years ago.
Probably a couple years ago.
Oh,
So they're
jumped
still a
in.
little bitter, but you know what? As I said, our dolls looked good,
really
and
are.
their dad gave them punishment because they were not ready for church. And that is the rules. It's not my rule, it's his rule.
So he went to slip-on shoes.
So,
to a tight shoe.
He finally purchased slip-on for the guys, and they no longer got punishment.
That's
And
why I
our
wear
dolls
mine.
still
Come
look
back.
good.
But them whoopings still hurt.
Did y'all
That
get
is-
trouble?
Yeah,
Did
they
the girls
don't
get
it.
trouble?
No, they
Absolutely
didn't.
They didn't
not.
know.
We are
They
princess
didn't know.
assistants.
No, they held that.
We just told them about it two
And we
or
are-
3 years ago.
They didn't
We're
tell us till we got grown.
unpunishable.
I found out about this about 20 years ago.
I found about 10.
So what
That
your
will
daddy say?
complete-
What your daddy say when you told your daddy? about
He
it?
left, because what could he
That
do?
thought it was funny. They needed something anyway.
So that completes
Ain't that weird?
Patricia, Diane, Louise, Jones, Maxwell's story, which I have all those little names.
Yeah.
She only don't have one. Or wait, I forgot one.
Oh, what happened? Oh, Lord.
I was also the cook of the house. So the rules of the cook was you cooked, everybody else cleaned. But I was the boss. So the boss gave out instructions. One of the instructions given to one of the people in this room, I'm not going to call any names.
Here it comes.
But they didn't want to follow those instructions. So because they didn't follow those instructions, the cook, because I was the boss, was going to make them. And how was we going to make them? I was going to whip him.
I remember that one.
So
And she tried to whoop you.
at this particular time,
She like this, I'm like
this
this.
person here was not going to allow me to do that. So what happened? There was a physical struggle going on.
Fight.
There was knocks on the wall, altercations. Shonda said that's a good word.
No,
because that's
it was a fight. Okay.
it was. And I'm trying to use all these words, but it was a low down dirty fight. And there was a wall banging and some floor rustling and some hitting and some screaming, and it was a lot of that going on.
Wish I
Now,
could've seen
it
that
depends on who you ask. If you ask me, I won. If you asked him, he won. But let's go to the bottom line, because I'm a bottom line
I'll
kind of
let you
girl.
win. Yeah.
Let's ask Daddy who won. Daddy, if you was here, who won? Daddy would say the cook won. You know
That's
why?
right.
The cook always wins because everybody got to eat. And when you hurt the cook, you hurt my daddy.
I didn't get a whooping. for
So
that.
guess who got a whipping? Was it the cook? No. It was the person who wouldn't listen to the
Did I
cook.
get a whooping for that?
Oh yeah, you got one. So
Yeah, block that
that is the end of my story.
I blocked that
Thank
out.
you so much for listening. My name is Patricia Diane Louise Jones Maxwell, the
Break.
yellow girl.
Get Shannon one of your names.
Intermission.
Okay, James said intermission.
My name is James Leonard.
Mama called him Leonard.
It used to be Leonard, but like everybody else, when I got my birth certificate, it didn't have an O in it. So I had to do something to get rid of that O. So I figured Leonard was pretty good. So I changed it to James Leonard Jones. And I got so many calls from my brothers and sisters telling me that, well, that ain't what she named you. I said, well, that's what's on my birth certificate. And they didn't talk to me for a while. I didn't care. So I just had to live with that. So anyway, they didn't like me to change mine. They wanted to be Leonard, but it was spelled Leonard, so that's what I call myself. I was born in December the 27th of 1957. Me and my sister were born in the same year.
Yes, they were.
We were born in the same year, and that's kind of a unique thing. The other unique thing I have about my birth, I was born between two girls. A girl before and after me. Nobody else in the family ever done that.
He was the lucky one.
And and they are right about my grandmother. I was still out with her. I was her boy. She took me everywhere with her. She didn't learn how to drive until she was an adult. And she would come down there and she would take me to town with her. Mom didn't like that very much. Told me she was showing favoritism. And grandmother said, yeah, you're right. I am. Okay. Come on, James, let's go. So we still went to town, and I'd get a hamburger and a shake. And I never didn't know why. I think it was because they thought I was going to be special. I think that's what it was. I think they thought I was going to be one of those special ed. Yeah. Seriously, I think they thought that, and you know, didn't bother me none. Didn't bother me none. I was eating hamburgers while they were thinking. They can think what they want to, but I was eating hamburgers while they were down there eating sandwiches. So I didn't have any problem with that. I didn't have any problem with people thought about me, and I think that's true today. I really don't care what people say about me because it ain't gonna put no more money in my pocket or take none out. So, but that's right. It's called challenge now.
Now you can buy your
So
own
you're
bourbon.
mentally challenged. Yeah, mentally challenged. Okay. And I married a woman who teaches special ed. So everything's taken care of. I got a woman to teach special ed, and they thought I would be in special ed. But I have to admit, my grandmother did. She kept me. I was quiet, and I didn't hardly say a lot. That's changed over the years. But my story about my grandmother is that you can see where my dad got his discipline from. She was a very disciplinarian too. She always expected everyone to be good kids and be mannerable and do what was right. And I think that's where my dad got all that from, and he passed it right on down to us. And the two things I can say about mom and dad that would be evenly is that they were disciplinarians, making sure that we knew right from wrong. The other story I would have, the only story I would have about my grandfather is that Jack Jones is that he would always come by while Daddy was at work, and come to find out Daddy and him had a few words when they were as kids. And Daddy finally told me the reason why, and I didn't see nothing wrong with it. He said that when he got about 15 or 16, he told his grandfather, he told his dad that, oh, you can't tell me what to do. And his dad told him, Herbert, two grown men can't live in the same house. And he said, one of us gonna have to go, and it's not gonna be me. But grandmother and him, of course, they split up, and he got to stay. But Daddy got to stay by default. But he had just basically, I learned that from him about when you have kids, and I had my boys, and they got up old enough. I remembered that, and I told my boys that same story when they got old enough to where they could make up their own mind about stuff. So I got that from my grandfather telling my dad about that. The story about my dad I could tell is, main thing, like I said, he was a disciplinarian, but he also was the king of the quiet treatment. He would, when he stopped talking to you, he would stop talking to you. He didn't talk to me one time for 2 weeks.
Wow.
2 weeks. Everybody was going places. They were doing things. And every time I would ask him, could I go or do something, he would just look at me. And then he looked back at the TV, and I couldn't understand why. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. It might have been when I jumped on his daughter. I don't know. It might have been. But he didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. I couldn't go to the basketball. I couldn't go nowhere, because if I went without him asking, I would get a whipping. So I knew that. So he didn't talk to me for 2 weeks, and I think some of that rubbed down on me and my brothers. I wish Ron was here. It's because he does that to his wife now, and she don't like it. And she screams and hollers, "Do not ignore me." And I heard my wife tell her, say, "Oh, don't worry about that. He's going to be like this for a little while, and he'll be talking after a while." I didn't even know Yolanda had noticed it, but she said I do it too. To her, so.
Yeah, you do.
I caught on to the quiet treatment. I don't talk to people. That's just the way it goes. And Trish already told the hide shoe story, because that was at the top of my list, and I scratched it off. But they don't realize how traumatic that was for us. To do that, because we couldn't figure out where those shoestrings were going. All of us, if it had been just one of them, we'd have blamed it on the other, saying they had got the shoestrings out of ours, but they all were missing. So anyway, and my best story for Dad is when we used to go on these long trips, Daddy would roll all the windows up, but then he light this cigar. And smoke would be in the car, and somebody would cough. "Hey, who was that back there coughing? Stop all that coughing and suck it up." And then he turned around, and everybody trying to, and wouldn't he roll that window back up. And I thought, and for the longest, I thought you're supposed to breathe all that. I thought you're supposed to breathe that smoke in. I just forgot about it, but we all got kind of used to it, and we didn't worry about Dad any more than that. But one thing I can say about Dad, he was a very good motivator. He motivated me in college. He's the reason why I graduated college, because I was having trouble my first year, which all freshmen do, and my grades wasn't very good. And I called down, I'm telling Daddy, "Well, Dad, I'm having a little trouble at school, and I don't know. I wasn't on scholastic probation, but I had a 1.5, one more point. Incoming freshmen, they let it be 1.5. And I thought he was gonna give me a motivational speech talking about, son, you just need to go study and be da-da-da. He said, don't worry about that school, boy. Come on back down here, man. We can haul some hay and cut some yards and we can make us some money. Man, I couldn't even sleep that night, man. Man, y'all think I'm lying, but I made the dean's list that next year. I went to studying, and I'm talking about, I was shaking. Talking about going back home and living with Dad and mowing yards and hauling hay. Oh, no, I wasn't gonna do that. So Daddy did things not even knowing that he did. Daddy, like I said, he taught us a lot of things without even knowing that he had taught us those. And that was one of the ones that caught me to learn that I could study. Now, and that's what I remember about my dad. He was just a good. He had 7 boys, and Dad taught us about unfairness too. That's one of the things we did not we don't do today with our kids. Teach them about how to be unfair. We always trying to be fair with our kids and stuff. Daddy taught unfairness, and that way it taught me how to deal with unfairness when I ran into it in my life. So I thank him for his unfairness. Here it is.
John.
I thank him for his unfairness. And Mom, are we all going to Mom, or are we going to Mom later? Mom, I have only 2 stories to tell about Mom. She was hand in hand with Dad when it come to disciplining us. They was hand in hand about raising their kids, taking them to church, knowing who Jesus is, and being good kids, basically being good kids and taking us to church. If you stepped out of line, Mom, when she whipped us with whatever was handy to her. She told me, we ready to go, James, get off your bike, do not ride around the house.
Oh,
well, I thought I could make one more round. Earl was there. As I came around there, she took me off the bike, and the bike kept rolling. So I thought it would be my best interest to go ahead and get in the car at that time. The bike, we left it ran right there on the ground. Bike, so from now on, when she told me it's time to go, I didn't go around the house again. That was my last time going around the house.
And why was Mama chasing you with the water hose?
I don't remember that time.
It was so many things.
It was so many times. I just remember that one, and some of them I think I blanked out. Your mind wants you to forget about those things, and
There wasn't no CPS back in the day.
and when I was in the 6th grade, I still remember this. I make a joke about special ed is that I was just lackadaisical, and I just really didn't care. Studying and stuff, and it wasn't top of my list in the 6th grade. I had other things to do. And Earl, we all come home with the grade with C's on our report cards and stuff, and Earl looked at us talking about C's.
What's wrong with y'all?
What's wrong with y'all? Man, we didn't like Earl either. Okay? Didn't like him. He gave good grades, he made good grades, he still did too, but they didn't. Earl kind of just kind of come easy for him. I mean, I worked hard for that C too. I worked hard for that C, man. Man, I ain't studying Earl. But anyway, my mom just always told us to do the best we could, and that's what I did. I did the best I could.
You did good, John.
I did. I know Earl. I knew you meant well, but that's okay. But anyway, I came home and I didn't have no books. Everybody else had all these books, and I came home and Mom said, "Where are your books, boy?" I said, "I don't have no books." "No, boy, where are your books?" She told me I didn't need no books. And she thought for a minute, what class are you in? Oh, that class down there? Boy, that's special ed. You ain't supposed to be in that class. I said, we ain't got no homework, and I don't have no books. Man, she beat me all the way back up to that school. Of course, I came back the next day, I had a handful of books like her. But I was glad. I didn't have no problem with it. Like I said, I didn't have no problem with it. They had a problem with it. I didn't. I didn't have no books. They said there wasn't no homework. I need no books. That's where I want to be. This is exactly where I want to be.
On to college with me.
I'm ready to go. And the thing about it, my mom knew that I could do things if I studied. I just didn't like studying. Yeah. And that was one of the weak points of mine. It still is now until I got this job with the fire department. Don will tell you, well, if we didn't pass these classes, they took your job. So that was a motivator for me too, because I still wanted to get paid. So that was otherwise I just, and in college, going home and mowing yards again, that was my motivator.
But when did you graduate?
I'm sorry. I graduated with a degree in commercial construction, and I was a member of the Dallas Fire and Rescue Department for 34 years,
God bless you.
and retired at this time. And my favorite story about my mom is she was an activist, and even back then, when me and a guy named Tyrone Mims and James Burns, they would not let black kids into the swimming pools there in Tig. So Mom and Joyce Burns went down there and said they were going to allow us to go in there. So they said, well, none of them ever come down here. So they had talked me and Tyrone and James into going down there. So what they do that day, we got down there. They didn't open the pool. We was all standing down there around there with all those white kids. They were calling us the N-word, saying things bad about us, and it was very uncomfortable. We went home, and they didn't open the pool that day because we were down there. So when I told Mom, we went down there, but they're not going to open the pool. So, okay, so y'all need to go back tomorrow. Oh, no, we ain't going back tomorrow. Why? Mom, they were talking about us. They were calling us names and see there, and plus my mom never used the cuss word.
Yeah.
She kind of let out a few of these words. She said, see there, you sorry? You're always asking you want something. And then when somebody get it set up for you, you sit around and cry like little babies. And then people just push you around, and then you want somebody to do something for you. Well, then don't go down there again. Don't ever ask me about going back down there again. I stand up for you, do all those things for you, and now you're going to just lay down. And well, finally, after she got through, we went down there. Of course, they opened the pool up and let us in. And shortly after that, the pool was segregated, and everybody started going.
Yeah.
And she was one of the ones that instigated that. She was a very activist as far as making sure the rights of African Americans or anybody was met.
That's right.
And that's one of the things I remember about her.
Jones.